My power only permits me to begin this endeavor. It is the duty of mortals to finish it.
And it is my duty to correct your mistakes, Liu Kang. Welcome to a brand new video series, where I look at characters in Mortal Kombat 1 that might need a little extra help. Especially considering that in this day and age, there's quite a bit of a Kameo crisis going on right now. This is specifically tailored to one type of player that I empathize with, because this character is awesome and badass. Not you, Peacemaker. You got justifiably nerfed. I'm talking about...
Is she an angel?
The hot wing girl herself, Nitara. You see, Nitara has quite a few issues, and I want to quickly shout out Miss Dinah Quinn for helping me with this video, because as much as I like Nitara, I'm not that in the woods when it comes to the competitive angle of fighting games anymore, so I'm not that focused on that. But I am very familiar with the mechanics of fighting games and how they work, so hopefully this video will help solve some Kameo crisis issues. I'm going to be taking a look at 6 cameos today that should hopefully help Nitara mains, at the very least, solve some of their problems, because, oh boy, Nitara's got some problems. First, before we get into the cameos, I want to quickly highlight what problems Nitara has. Nitara actually has the lowest base health value of any character in Mortal Kombat 1, with a value of 500. So, or 600, rather. What the hell does that mean? Because most people, when you look at a health bar, it's 1,000 health. Well, they have figured out the health values by combining the health of the cameos and the health of the characters. Nitara, with a normal cameo that gives her a normal amount of health, only has 900 hit points in total. This is the lowest pool for any character in this game. Only Quan Chi shares this, and it is quite a devastating problem for her because she naturally starts with less health than most other characters. Usually, when a character has less health than the other, that results in them being really strong. And I wouldn't be lying if I said Nitara wasn't crazy in some aspects. If you actually get a hit, you actually can get some crazy damage. If I can actually land this combo, because I can never get the timing. I'll just do something easier. Just to get the point across. Okay, so I messed up, but you get the idea. You get really nice damage with Nitara. She also has the ability to sacrifice some health to gain health over time and buff some of her attacks, even unlocking a new, nasty projectile. But that's neither... But those things don't quite make up for her big flaws. First and foremost, she is designed to be a flight aerial character. She was the first character to have some form of aerial mobility. In this case, her air dashes, which are 8-directional and can be used to extend combos. So, yeah, the idea. But that is one of her strengths, is that she has crazy air stuff going on. Especially if you could catch them on block and go for things. The problem is, these flight gimmicks are not enough, because any character that has a strong anti-air, which is most of the characters in this game, or have a cameo that can specially take her out of the air, like Janet or Sonya, provide a nasty issue because she wants to be in the air, but if she's in the air, she keeps getting spiked. So, unfortunately, she can't leave the ground to do everything that she wants because it leaves her open. One other issue is that many of her best strings have exploitable issues. For instance, 1, 2, 4. There's a gap there that you can exploit. Back 2, extremely slow. Forward 4 is one of her faster options. Standing 3 leaves her airborne. So if you block this, if you block or duck this, you get a full punish. And as if that wasn't enough, her best mid, forward 2, has an ender. That knocks down. Pretty sweet, right? Problem is, not only is there a gap there, a flawless block gap that can give opponents punishes, none of the pressure is real to begin with. Sometimes it can be plus, but if they block your standing 4 at mid-screen, I'm gonna make them block all. Yeah. I can't actually enforce anything if they block that mid-screen, because it knocks them too far back. And here's the thing about standing 4, right? Standing 4 is supposed to be plus, and it is, +5. But it's a high. You want to go for Bloodhouse in order to try and secure pressure? If they know that this is a high, they'll just duck and full combo punish off of you trying to be +5 in the corner. That's not very nice, in my personal opinion. And last, but certainly not least, one of the biggest problems that Nitara has, I talked to Miss Dinah Quinn for this, so many thanks to her for helping out with this video. She also doesn't really have chip pressure. Baraka, for instance, has crazy chip that he can pull off because he has many rapid-fire hitting attacks. Nitara's most rapid-hitting attacks are 1-2-1. 1-2-1-2, sorry. The multi-hitting strikes at launch. Except, because this is a launcher...
So unfortunate.
If you block this, you get a full punish. So, she gets punished for trying to chip you out, while Baraka can chip you out with no issues whatsoever. Again, it's okay for characters to have flaws. That's perfectly acceptable. It's how balance works. But unfortunately, Nitara just got smacked with so many flaws and issues that her strong suits, big damage, one of the few characters that can actually heal her health in the game, and crazy air pressure, is not enough. Especially when you consider that healing costs health. Healing costs health. That is bad. If your healing needs you to hurt you, it's bad. One of the things I want to buff Nitara with is just back forward 2 heal. There's no reason why it doesn't. Even if you have to neuter the damage a little bit to make it fair or whatever. But considering her health is so low, I don't even think that's necessary. And yeah, you might be thinking, well, a healing launcher? Dude, Nitara doesn't have any pressure and has 900 health with a normal Kameo. Cut the woman some slack, would ya? Speaking of cutting her some slack, let's give her a helping hand, shall we? And introduce our very first Kameo, Serena. Now, Serena, I'm a little bit biased for. She is one of my personal favorite cameos alongside another cameo we'll be talking about shortly. But that does not mean that Serena can't help. First and foremost, those of you who have been patiently waiting to point out, Nitara has 950 health right now, and you say she has 900 with a normal cameo? Serena's not a normal cameo. Serena gives 50 extra hit points to every character, on top of the normal amount that they would get to get someone to 1,000. So, Nitara actually has 950 health with Serena. It's not a tremendous improvement, I'll be completely honest with you. But any improvement to health for a character that's as much of a glass cannon as Nitara is going to be appreciated. Another thing that Serena brings to the table is utility. When the opponent is too far for Nitara to hit, she's kind of in trouble, especially against certain zoners. Looking at you, John Gilman. But with Serena, she has one of the fastest projectiles in the game. And this is the fastest cameo recovery move in the game. Forward cameo. You can spam this pretty quickly. And since I hit it 3 times to empty, boom. That's how fast it recovers if you spam the blades. This is great because Nitara does not have a traditional projectile. Unless she sacrifices health. And it is tremendously slow. Yeah, you could. And as you can see, if you're not careful about where you are, punishable because it's sending a wave that explodes in blood energy. It's a cool projectile, but oh my fuck, is it bad? So giving her a better projectile that she can have practically at any time, that's massive for Nitara, because it can help her check opponents and chip opponents from a range she is not comfortable with. Another skill that she has is the circle. This drains meter whenever the opponent is grounded. Now, this helps with Nitara because it actually gives her something to work with in the pressure department. If I set Homelander to block everything, and I were to go for this, all of a sudden, he is losing meter while locked down in the corner. This may be Serena's only ambush, but this utility is huge. If you can somehow lock your opponents down in the corner with Nitara, just bust this out. And for what little pressure you can get, you're also draining meter. Meaning that any meter drain makes combos unbreakable. Also meaning that, let's say you are capable of getting let's say you get a hit confirm. Let's say you get a hit confirm. 35%, 1 bar, can't break it. That is the thing with Nitara. She gives Serena gives Nitara, I had that backwards. Serena gives Nitara meter drain. That's massive. Only Cyrax also gives you meter drain, and you actually have to hit the opponent. Serena's circle is out regardless of if the opponent's blocking or not. So, as long as this is on the ground, you can enforce a new kind of pressure. A pressure where they're losing resources. And if they slip up, they will not be able to break the damage that's coming. Last and certainly not least, well, actually kind of least, considering that Nitara doesn't really need combo. Well, it's not even last. The least important thing is the blood moon. The double blades are the least important. But everybody knows what this does. Everybody knows what this does at this point, so get a hit confirm. Okay, that didn't hit. But you get a standard hit confirm with this, and it's good to go. One thing I need to emphasize, though, with Nitara Serena is do not use the double blood moon in a combo, because it's going to scale too much. And really, damage isn't Nitara's problem. Damage was never Nitara's issue. So if you can just use that to smartly manage your Kameo, you'll always have Kameo for a backup projectile, or a circle if you get pressure, or an invincible wake-up. This is excellent. One of the better invincible wake-ups in the game belongs to Serena, the Demonic Dance. It's -3 on block and hits mid. But as you can see, where that fire arc is where it hits. So it can also anti-air, allowing Nitara a way to safely get back to her feet and try and do something about it. Serena, I think, is actually one of Nitara's best combo options overall, because the sheer utility that she brings to the table is insane. Really good projectile, a nice combo extender, a means to drain meter, and an invincible wake-up. This, I believe, and to top it all off, extra health. I personally believe that if you are seriously willing to play Nitara at a competitive level, give Serena a try. Because one thing that also helps Nitara in this case is her ground game. Remember, she loves being in the air. But that means on the ground, she's in a tremendous amount of trouble. So anybody that can help her on the ground is massive. Which brings us to our next Kameo. Next up, we have Jax. And Jax is one of those cameos that supercharges Nitara's health pool. She now has 1,000 health. That is amazing. The problem is that there are very few cameos that can actually boost your health, and Jax is one of, I think, only 2 that boost it by 100 points. I believe either Tremor or... No, it's Shujinko. Shujinko is the other one, and I believe Tremor gives you 50 as of a recent patch. But the importance with Jax is he actually synergizes with Nitara as well, in a different fashion. Let's say we get a hit confirmed. With a little better timing, you get combos. Combos that bring you back to the ground. But again, combos are not Nitara's problem. So we can stay away from the backbreaker for now, unless you're looking for a way to intercept other aerial opponents into a full combo. Where Jax really shines is, again, Invincible Wake Up in down Kameo with his energy wave. It's a mid that's -3, and is slightly slower than Serena's, but not to a degree that it's really an issue. The only problem is that Energy Wave knocks the opponent back full screen. So it's less ideal for Nitara, but if you're dealing with if you need a breather against a rushdown character, this isn't bad. What I really want to try and sell you on with Jax is the ground pound. This big boy right here is an unblockable low, right? Here's the thing. It covers the entire screen wherever Jax is. It's that massive zone around him. What's a really good way to avoid an earthquake? That's right, fly. See what I mean? Jax's utility also helps Nitara, because now you have an unblockable setup tool. One that you can potentially combo off of. And because back forward 2 leaves you airborne, any move that puts you in the air, if you time it, will keep you safe from the ground pound, meaning that you don't eat the damage. Which is fantastic, because if you can get them set up in a situation where they're scared of the ground pound, all of a sudden, Nitara has an unblockable launcher to work with. One that she can avoid and set up a guaranteed blood sacrifice after. Jax is seriously one of Nitara's better answers, and if you're really, really, really nervous about the health drop that Nitara gives, Jax is your guy. Jax and Shujinko, but Shujinko is a really weird character that requires you to understand your opponent, so he's a little bit tricky to use, but don't let me stop you. Next up, we have Sector, a character I really think helps Nitara in some really nasty ways, particularly if you like setup. See, Sector has missiles. That much goes without saying. And he can place them in front, behind, or in front of the opponent. Or onto the opponent. Spend the extra Kameo to have a homing missile that will always lock down on the opponent. He also provides a nice invincible wake-up in the Flame Burner that, unlike the other 2 invincible wake-ups we talked about so far, leaves the opponent standing. Nitara doesn't have great pressure, sure, but it's always good to leave an opponent standing if you can, because it means they cannot wake up against you. Their only options are to go for a fast punish or block. And since some wake-up attacks are armored, this helps Nitara because it means she has some level of pressure to enforce whenever she catches somebody, or whenever she has on wake up, and then throw out a missile in order to help cover your tracks, because that is what the missiles are really good at. They help you make sure that Nitara stays safe, because if you time them out and they're in ambush, you can take full advantage of that. Sector's least useful tool for Nitara is the teleport uppercut. But what's nice about the teleport uppercut is, it's a teleporting attack. So, if you catch this raw, there we go. I mean, that wasn't a whole lot of damage, but he's almost back, and you just kind of caught him out of nowhere with that teleport. One of the best things about Sector is keeping opponents on your toes, on their toes. And with Sector's ability to really smash up the competition, it's really, really, really handy that, well, Sector has these missiles as an ambush. If they were a summon, I would not recommend Sector for Nitara at all. Let's move on to our next cameo before things get a little too hairy. Next up, we have Frost, another one of my personal favorite cameos. Unlike Serena, Frost does not buff Nitara's health, but she provides some key things that really, really, really help Nitara. Most importantly, chip pressure, something that we have not been able to get into yet. Frosty's Revenge is +4 on block. So, let's say you block, and then let's say you overcommit. If they block, full screen, you do about 10% chip. It only costs half a bar, and Nitara's +4, meaning that the opponent can't really do anything. So this is why I personally recommend Frost, because she has one of the best chip options in the game, which, unlike Cyrax's horizontal chopper, allows you to force in. Problem is that there is a gap that could be punished there because it is kind of a special move cancel. But this is why you go for fast moves that +5 into punchy into go away from me, right? That is one example of something that really helps. This attack right here is an invincible wake up as well. Fast on its feet, and does a pretty good amount of damage with a decent amount of knockback on block. On hit, though, it just knocks down. I kind of wish it did a different animation because this doesn't really make sense considering it's a big spike coming out of the ground, but whatever. She also has a low combo extender that freezes the opponent. And by freezes, I was able to taunt, and I would theoretically be able to block there. But what's nice about this attack is that not only is it a full screen freeze, so that any opponent full screen you can catch this with, is guaranteed to be eating damage. Because again, you can just dash in, or if you want to be faster about it, use the air to your advantage, right? One last thing that Frost brings that can actually help Nitara in a pinch is Frosty Flakes. This slow-moving projectile that hovers in and freezes opponents on contact for a shorter period of time than the low freeze, but it's a freeze nonetheless. And because it's active for as long as the projectile is on screen, the opponent is locked down. They have to avoid this slowly homing projectile somehow. That does not, to my knowledge, go away on hit. Hold on, I forgot to set that to right stick. So if I do this, does not go away on block. So this is something you can throw out to catch an opponent that is trying to punish you completely off guard. Because if they try to punish you for going for this on, say, a knockdown, you block this, projectile's not gone anywhere. So if they try to do anything, they'll eat this. And if they eat this, you get a full combo punish. The big thing for Frost, though, is those rapid punches. Because the chip damage, oh my god, does this help so much with Nitara. Because one of the bigger issues with Nitara, and one of the strongest things in Mortal Kombat 1 in general, is chip damage. It's why Cyrax was so broken early on, and why people were reminded of how scary Cyrax is when they accidentally reverted that buff, or that nerf rather. So any opponent that can give Nitara good chip damage while keeping safe, or even plus, is someone to really watch out for. And as much as I personally think Frost should buff health as well, I would not be remiss if that wasn't entirely necessary, because the chip and the freezing, which, by the way, if I may remind you, mix up, because you can freeze from here, or go for, yeah, you can freeze from here, or go for an overhang. Now let's move on to our next cameo. Sub-Zero is a fairly simple cameo that has really strong utility that helps Nitara tremendously. Icy Armor, or what I call Frosty Nips, is a fantastic move for saying fuck you to projectiles. No matter what kind of projectile the opponent throws your way, it will not work. So, as you can see, completely immune to projectiles, which is great because any zoners that try to come after Nitara, they will get combo punished thanks to the ice armor. And what's even better is recently they buffed Sub-Zero to be able to go for Cold Shoulder as a sort of enhanced move that is an ambush version of the attack. This is normally a very strong, sort of high. Is it high, or did they make it a mid? Let me double check that. Cold Shoulder is a mid. Okay. So, when performed as a get up or reversal, this attack is invincible as well. The thing is that it's actually unsafe. By -1, but it's still unsafe. It's the weakest of the options that we have so far for an invincible reversal, but that's not a bad thing, because, again, Ice Armor. Fantastic for Nitara. Especially when Sub-Zero also gives Nitara 50 extra health to work with. Setting this up means that hard zoners are not going to want to commit to this, because all of us are not going to commit to zoning, because otherwise they are in big, big trouble. And of course, what would a Sub-Zero cameo be without the ability to freeze? Sorry. As you can see, it leaves them frozen for a nice amount of time. But because it's an AoE attack, this allows you to potentially hit opponents out of the air with the freeze, or even behind you, because it's or potentially right behind you if they messed up a teleport. This AoE freeze does not have as much range as Frost, but the fact that it kind of creates a circle around the big man is a huge deal, because, again, this creates a zone of denial. It creates a stay away from me zone, because if you don't stay away from Nitara Sub-Zero, and you eat this, you're gonna get a full combo punish. And hell, as you can see, I get guaranteed blood sacrifice. For 38% for 2 bars, and I get some of my health back. For a freeze. Now, here's the thing. Catch somebody with this, and you get that similar combo extension. Sub-Zero's fantastic because he actually patches up 2 problems at once. Not only does he patch the health issue, but he also patches the gap problem. Watch. If you try to punish there, Sub-Zero will come for you. But now you're -1 at this range. You're practically at neutral. So this means that all of a sudden, Nitara has a safe way to plug any gaps that an opponent might try to exploit. And if they happen to get too cocky and try to deal with that, they get knocked down for 60 damage, giving you enough distance to get Ice Armor up and begin the monstrosity that is a projectile invincible Nitara. Also, this means that flight attacks are projectile immune, meaning air projectiles are not going to stop you. So any Lee Mays that are trying to catch you out of the air with a fireball, you can actually do a little something like this. Here, I'll have a Homelander fly so that we can kind of get the idea across. 38%, 1 bar, they couldn't do anything about that. Because if they had tried for an aerial projectile, they would have gotten in trouble. Here, I'll even prove the point. Second. What the hell is his air laser eyes? Where is that? Okay, so I have to be in flight for that. Okay. Okay, so you get the idea. I keep fucking up that cancel there, but the point is that you can punish aerial projectile attempts, which normally would be a fantastic way to deal with Nitara because how much time she's spending in the air. Now you have a defensive option that you can use while you're airborne. Speaking of defensive options that you can use while you're airborne, Nitara loves Tremor. I was wrong. I thought Tremor only boosted health by 50 points. He actually boosted by 100, which is tremendous, because that means Nitara now has 1,000 health. But here's the thing about Nitara Tremor. Variations that you can switch in between at any time. Now, whenever you switch between in your variations, you get ambush versions of all of your attacks. This includes some nasty stuff like Magma Burst, which is safe and has good distance, or Ambush Crystalline Armor. Now, Crystalline Armor is slightly different from the Ice Armor for one key reason. It blocks everything. Which means that if Homelander were to try and attack Nitara, for whatever reason, I have the armor up. Yes, I eat the damage, but I basically armor my way through it. I know that link works, it's super tight. But that's the thing about armor. Now, there is a caveat to this, wherein you can't exactly pull the same trick that you can with ice armor. Because it actually hits me and brings me back down to Earth. Now, I need to double check something because I'm not 100% sure how well this works, so let me just do this. Okay, so that's 940. Okay, so you do take a little bit less damage. You take about 1/3 less damage from attacks. That is really nice because, again, less damage, less likely to die. And, critically, it gives Nitara punish options for people trying to punish her. Her gaps are plugged as long as she's got the crystalline armor on, which lasts for 5 hits. If the 5 hits are up, then she will be stunned for a hit, but this is still by far the best reason to use Tremor with Nitara. This right here, that allows you to say, fuck you, to offense, and say, I'm gonna take this back, because standing 1 is 4 frames, right? So, you get the idea. I don't know why my inputs have been so bad for this video today, but the point is proven. The armor is great. And, by far, the second best thing, or second only to the shield, is just how many options Tremor has. Tremor has this move that blocks projectiles and the armor. He has a low quake that goes a safe-ish punch and a launching version. And Metallic has Magma Burst in both directions and projectiles. If you need to deal with a rushdown character with zoning, Metallic Tremor gives you that option. Whereas Aftershock helps you with setups and overall safety, and Crystalline is, well, just here for the armor. But that is... I personally think that if you don't want to go with Serena, who I personally think is best with Nitara, go with Tremor. Tremor is fantastic and really helps Nitara in so many ways that it's almost funny. Seriously, extra health, armor, safety, mix-ups? There isn't anything that Tremor can't do for this woman. She already has the damage covered. She needs the utility. And guess what? Tremor provides it. So, my personal opinion, go for Tremor. Tremor's amazing. Now, let's quickly get an honorable mention out of the way before we talk about our last cameo. Let's quickly take a look at an honorable mention before we move on, because this is Miss Dinah Quinn's personal favorite pairing, and from what I can tell, and honestly, I don't blame her for it, Mavado. Here's the thing about Mavado. Mavado sucks for Nitara, because 800 health in total, thanks to how much Mavado reduces health. That means, for some characters, this duo is a 2-hit kill. 2 touches, and this combination is dead. What's more, there are combinations that allow you to have 1,200 health. That is a 50% health bridge cap. And unlike Ultra Street Fighter 4, Akuma, where Akuma absolutely dominates Zangief, Nitara doesn't stand a chance against the likes of General Shao Jax. So, why would someone use Nitara Mavado? First off, sweet together. Like, I mean, come on, look at these two. You got the guy in the trench coat and you got the gothic vampire? What is there to love? Plus, the grappling hook is sweet. But one thing that he really brings to the table is not only does he have a mind that allows him for setup, he also has this cheeky reversal that actually damages Nitara, by the way, but can be used to finish a fight if need be. And you get up way before. But the main thing Mavado brings is combo extensions. And these combos are super fun. The problem is that Nitara's problems are not combos or damage. So, as much as Mavado supercharges combo potential, which means that you get a million different combo options and every match is interesting, which is fantastic. Problem is that health drain is really scary, especially for a character that already has trouble opening opponents up. So while Mavado is honestly just a fun combo in general, my personal recommendation is not to use these two unless you're Miss Dinah Quinn, crazy, or super determined to prove me wrong. None of those are wrong. So let's talk about another cameo that actually works nicely. Number 6, our final cameo, and the one that many of you are going to lament, Chameleon. Yes, Chameleon got nerfed. She lost 50 points of health, and now you can reliably punish the ball roll. What about the rest of the shit that she provides? Projectile immunity? Check. A move that leaves the opponent plus 60 on hit? Check. Yeah, let's do this so that the sound effects are this way. A projectile? Check. A move that launches you into the air? Check. This helps Nitara in particular because it gives her a way to get airborne safely, because it's a cameo attack, meaning that you can do stuff like, let me set this to katana. And they try to punish that, and they can't, because you gone, baby. You're all of a sudden all the way over here. And if they fumble their inputs, they may be left open in a long animating special move. And if they're left animating in a long animating special move, you know what that means? Combos, baby! If you don't suck like me. And of course, there is Melina, the other character the main variation of Chameleon that got nerfed. Because Ball Roll is now actually easy to punish. But here's the thing. It goes overhead. And Nitara has a special cancelable sweep. So you have a mix-up option. Where did you go? Yeah, roll starts overhead. So if you start with sweep, throw out the projectile immunity, and there you go. Chameleon is still really strong. The health nerf is admittedly quite scary, and as I mentioned in the honorable mentions, you really don't want to pick cameos that lower Nitara's already fragile health. However, she may be number 6 on this list, but everybody loves using Chameleon, and everybody's worried that because of the nerf, you have to stop using Chameleon. You don't. You don't have to stop using anybody. The point of this video is to help those people who are having a cameo crisis figure out what they can do to help shore up Nitara's weaknesses. For people that are looking for that, this video is for you. I am not, by the way, I want to make this clear, I am not saying that if you don't play with these cameos, you're a bad Nitara player. No, that's not it. Anybody can make any cameo work at any level if you put enough effort into it and have enough understanding. The trouble is, Nitara, arguably, has to work way too hard with most cameos to do that. So these cameos are what I hope will help ease the load a little bit, so that those of you who are struggling to be like, I need something for Nitara now that Chameleon's nerfed. What's going on? Hopefully this video has been helpful for you. And if not, well, at least you got to see Nitara kick the shit out of Homelander, which I think is a win for everybody. Don't forget to be awesome, my friends. Many big special thanks to Miss Dinah Quinn for helping me with this video. Go follow her on the Twitters if you are at all inclined. I am not going to call it X because Elon Musk needs a kick in the taint. So, the FTBA, and I'll see you guys on the other side.